the traditional interpretation of Priya, again, the tear in the ribbon, symbolic of the tear in your heart and the tear in the family circle. But there's another legend that says if we would bring in the most talented seamstress, and this seamstress would try to mend the ribbon, gluing it back together, sewing it back together, no matter how talented she was, there will always be that mark. That would be exactly the same. And our rabbis tell us that in life, your beloved Mel made that mark in your life. Your life has changed. Loretta, to lose a love of 68 plus years, of course your life has changed. To lose a father, doesn't matter age, doesn't matter illness. You only have one dad. There's a father-in-law, a grandpa. Each of your lives have changed. But our traditions tell us that we go on with our lives and we thank God. We thank God today for Mel, for the love that he gave each of you, and the incredible legacy that he leaves behind. When we leave this earth, what do we leave behind when we really put life in perspective? We strive to have nice homes, we like fancy cars, all the toys, the gadgets, they're all guilty of. That's okay, I like that stuff too, but it's stuff. So we move all the stuff out of the way. What really is important? Our family, and the love that we give our family. And in Hebrew we use the phrase Lador Vador. Such an important phrase of who we are as a people. Lador Vador means from generation to generation. Through children and 5 grandchildren, 6 great-grandchildren. That's his legacy. And that's what we celebrate today. It's important to remember that. My congregation, is in Parkland, right up the street. And 18 months ago, the horrific events at Douglas High School I was directly involved with many of the families, being a small community. And that horrific day changed me. Changed me, not necessarily just as a rabbi, but as a person, as a husband, as a father, as a new grandfather. We wake up every morning, we know we're going to be okay. We go to work, we go play golf, we go to school. We come back, we do the same thing. We know our parents are going to be fine, our kids are going to be fine, but we know that life is precious. We know that. That's why in Hebrew we say l'chaim, to life. We say that all the time. So life should be celebrated. And that horrific day changed me. And there's a verse in the Talmud that's almost been my mantra. I actually say it every day for the last 18 months that I want to share with you. And maybe Mel lived his life this way. Besides the great memories you have of Mel, remember this. And it says to live each day to the fullest, get the most from each hour and each day and each age of your life. Then you can look forward with confidence and back without regret. So in honor of Mel, remember that. Live each day with a passion, as his memory will always be for a blessing. We know that. So in this difficult time, in this time of grief, we listen to the voice of our sacred scriptures that brings us the avenue message of God's nearness. It tells of our kinship with the Creator in light as in darkness, in joy as in sorrow, in life as in death. The 23rd Psalm. Mizmono David Adonai Dawid Havetzar in Odeshit Yorbitzeni. Al mei minachot nahaleni nafshi yeshoveh. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. Amen. We read from the book of Ecclesiastes, for everything there's a season, a time for every experience under heaven. There's a time to be born, there's a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot what is planted, a time to tear down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to grieve and a time to dance, a time to throw stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to discard, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silence, and there's a time to speak. So our traditions teach us that one of the most important things we could do when someone passes away is to keep their memory alive. Very simple. It's to remember them. To keep their neshama. The neshama in Hebrew is the soul, or the spirit. So we keep the neshama alive and do that through memory. And our traditions teach us that when we're physically here on this earth, that our body is merely a vessel for the neshama. And we physically pass from this earth, whether we're 96, 106, or 16. Our body's worn out. It's committed back to the earth. But we know that our neshama, and that's really who a person is, our neshama continues to live on. So where's Mel's neshama? We know that his neshama lives right here, within the hearts of those he loved, his family, through the generations. So how do we keep his neshama alive? How do we keep his memory alive? Very simple. Continuing to speak about him. You're not going to leave here today and zip your mouth and never speak of him again. If anything, the next couple of days you're going to gather. You're going to be together as a family. You're going to invite the community in. You're going to share memories and stories, and God willing, smile and laugh a lot. Remember the good times. Keep photos out. You're not going to run home and box up all the photos. Again, if anything, you're doing the opposite. And today with technology, if we have that technology between scanning and emailing, whatever else we do with photos these days, they keep them. But not that many years ago, we had a photo of a great-great-grandpa. Like, what do we do with it? But we have that technology now to keep them. Make sure they're passed down through the generations. So important. And we know that there'll be beautiful simchas, there'll be more weddings, and there'll be graduations, and there'll, God willing, be more babies. And we know that Mel physically won't be there, but you'll honor him in each of these simchas. You remember him in each of these simchas. And I'll charge all the grandchildren here, and I know Hunter's, was he 4 or 5? Almost 4. Big boy, daddy's big. So his memory will fade. His physical memory may fade over the years. I'll charge all of you, keep his memory alive. Speak of him often. Keep photos out. And he'll grow up and say, my great-grandpa passed away when I was only 4, but my mom and dad, my grandparents always share these memories. So important. So important. So we remember Mel today, but we remember him always. So in the rising of the sun and its going down, we remember Mel. In the blowing of the wind and the chill of winter, we remember him. In the rustling of leaves and the beauty of autumn, we remember him. In the beginning of the year, when it ends, we remember Mel. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember him. And when we're lost and sick at heart, we remember him. When we have joys, when we have simchas we are to share, we remember him. So long as we live, he too shall live. He is now a part of us as we remember him today and always. There's a very simple Hebrew word that I like to use rather than saying goodbye. I don't like saying goodbye to people. To me, saying goodbye to someone you care about is just very final. Almost taking the book of their life, closing it, and just tossing it aside. So this simple Hebrew word, we say shalom today to Mel. Traditionally in Hebrew, we greet someone, we say shalom. When we leave someone, we say shalom. It really doesn't mean hello and goodbye. It's a greeting, but it doesn't mean hello and goodbye. It does mean peace. And we do know that he is at peace. There's no pain, there's no suffering in death. And though we mourn, if you think about it, we really mourn for ourselves. As human beings, we're a spiritual being, or in this physical world. So each of you had a physical relationship with him. You can see him. You can hold his hand, caress him, speak to him on the phone, FaceTime, whatever we do these days. And that's a normal, natural human relationship, and that shifts and changes to more of a spiritual connection. And that's a difficult concept to fathom, but God willing, over time that does occur, but in taking comfort and solace knowing that he is at peace. And our condolences go to his family that he was truly devoted to. His love, Loretta, again, 68 years. You figured out you were 12 years old when you got married, right? You look so young. The generations continue through his children, who he was always there for. Taught many things, good work ethic, love, gave love to, but was always there for them, and how proud he was, each and every one of them. Sheila and Henry, Stacy, Judd, and Alyssa. Today remember Harris of blessed memory, his late son. The generations continue through the 5 grandchildren and spouses, Brooke and Tommy, Jessica and Mike, Victoria and Greg, Ariel and Oren, who's streaming from Italy, and Danielle. And the generations continue through the great-grandchildren, Hunter, McKenna, Tyler, Jacob, Brittany, and Alina. And each of you that are here today mourn. I didn't have the opportunity to know Mel, and I'm not the type of rabbi that's going to stand here and pretend. So today, part of the family will be eulogizing. So Sheila, I guess you were elected to go first.